Hi, Facebook. Happy Tuesday. It is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I am here at the Coach's Corner, and thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in today and watching live. And if you are watching the replay, just leave me a comment. Let me know that you watched the replay if you couldn't be on live, okay? And also, go ahead and share this video on your pages so that lots of people can get this information that I'm going to share on today. So it is spring break, like I talked about last week, that my family's on spring break. I do teach high school part-time, and I have little people of my own, but we're all on spring break this week, so I have some extra energy, right? I also have some extra time, okay? So if you are needing some advice for your teenager or some advice, for your family to help your teen with their academics, health, or relationships, then you can go to my calendar and schedule an appointment this week or next week too. But this week I have some extra time to do some free consultations, okay? You get a free discovery call with me. So I'll post a link to my calendar in just a little bit later here on my page as well, all right? So I do want to go ahead and get started because my kids are anxiously waiting for me to finish this up so we can blow bubbles outside. We were playing with slime outside because it's not allowed in my house. So I want to get back to them, but I did want to come on here for the Coach's Corner. So what I want to talk about really quick, I know that everyone's on spring break and trying to relax, that sort of thing. But I do want you to know that when school starts back next week or whenever it is, if you're in traditional public schools, probably on Monday, which that seems so soon, right? But enjoy your break. But when school starts back, there will only be like 8 or 9 weeks of school left. And so your student will be pretty much doing test prep, test review, testing strategies, working on their test taking skills, all that fun stuff, right? And I know it's highly debatable, the testing situation here, definitely in the United States and in North Carolina. But if your child is in school right now in public school North Carolina, they will have these tests coming up in the next few weeks. And so I wanted to just give some advice to help your team be ready and help you help them be ready for these end of course exams that they have coming up, okay? And so I got some information from a teenager, actually 3 tips from him. And he's a senior, but he was saying what he wished he knew about testing and test anxiety as a freshman in high school. And the first thing he said was just to remind your teenager that it's just a test, okay? It's just a test. Whatever they get on the test does not define them, okay? And his parents did a pretty good job of instilling that in him, and so he did his best. But if he didn't do, as expected or as he wanted on a test, he didn't let that discourage him from his post-high school dreams and goals, okay? So remind your teenager that whatever test they have is just a test, okay? It does not define them. A lot of times you can retake it. Definitely if it's like SAT, ACT, I know you probably don't want to pay for it twice, but you do have the option to retake those type of tests, okay? And if it's a school test for a class, hopefully their class grade is high enough that they don't even need to score that well on the test, and so that'll just even boost their grade even higher, maybe from A- to an A+, okay? So it's just a test. That's all it is. It does not define your teenager. And the second thing he said was to have them to just breathe. I talk a lot about yoga and a lot about breathing, that sort of thing, but the same thing for your teenager. Just breathe, relax, and do their best, right? And the third thing he reiterated, like I always talk about, is music. Okay, and we know that these teens are listening to all kind of music, but he said to have them listen to some relaxing music. They always have the headphones in all day long, so they can listen to something relaxing. They can just go on YouTube and type in relaxing music, and some good study music will come up. They can type study music, and that will come up, and they can listen to that to calm them before they have these exams, okay? So that was 3 tips from a high school senior that he gave as far as preparing for these end of grade tests and these end of course exams. Now, I wanted to talk to the parents about my advice would be time management, okay? Balancing and managing that time for your teenagers so that they can be successful over these next few weeks. And so the first thing would be to just give them study time. I know with most of my clients and with most of my viewers, time alone is very rare for any member of the family, right? So you want to give your teenager time to study, whether that's taking them and dropping them off at the library, or if it's giving them a room in the house for these next few weeks where they don't have siblings coming in and they don't have these interruptions and distractions so that they can study, okay? And so I have even my library card right here, my library card. And guess what, y'all? It's free 99. Y'all know I love free stuff, okay? So I hope they already have a library card, but if they don't, they can get one for free. And you can reserve a study room at any public library for free. And they can go in there and have that peace and quiet and the internet connection and even whiteboards in some of those rooms so that they can study. You can go to any public university in your town and go to the library, which is really big and it's really nice, and they can go in a room there and study as well. So you want to provide them study time, okay? The second thing is you want to balance their time over these next few weeks. I know your teenager is probably super busy with friends and maybe they're even dating. They have church activities, volunteer activities, sports, clubs, that sort of thing. Even some of my clients that I work with, their children are starting to get these part-time jobs. I was talking to a mom and dad about a week or two ago, and they were so concerned about their teenager working too late at night during the week, okay? I have to, help them learn to advocate for that and, researching different laws in different states concerning teenagers working part-time at these fast food restaurants or things like that. So you want to balance their time, change their work schedule, change their social schedule, cut out some sports activities for the next few weeks so that they can balance their time to study so they can do well on these exams that are coming up, okay? And then the other thing would be to have practice time, but time them on these tests at home. Any test that your teenager has coming up, I'm sure there's an online practice exam or an online test from the previous year. For example, if they're taking the biology test coming up in May, they can go on there for whatever state you live in and find the biology test from 2 to 3 years ago, and they can answer those questions, and you can time them to see how long it takes and see what they got right and that sort of thing so that they can practice. And I promise you that will make a world of difference, okay? So doing those practice tests online. Now, if you can't find whatever it is online, you can definitely contact me. I have way too much stuff for test prep and way too much stuff that I've been teaching since 2011. And so I have a lot of stuff to help your teenager with those study habits, okay? And even on our free discovery call, we can kind of figure out a plan of what your teen needs to do to prepare for these exams and what type of practice and what type of test they need to do, okay? And then the last thing would be to have them use extra time on the test. I have taught special education. Since I started teaching, I taught special education, so those with learning disabilities or emotional disorders, things like that. And then I've also taught in classrooms for the gifted and highly intelligent students as well. And so they have the opportunity, if they have an IEP or a 504 plan, to receive extended time and different accommodations, okay? And so I try to advocate for students and teach them to advocate for themselves. And then I coach parents on how to advocate for their teens as well and receiving their accommodations with their IEP or 504 plan. So if your teenager has any of that, please feel free to reach out to me. I can help you understand it, help you get what it is that you're supposed to get with those accommodations. But even if they don't, even if your teenager is an average teenager and they don't have those particular accommodations to assist them, there are still things that you can do and that your team can do to make sure they have the proper testing environment and they have the time they need and they're comfortable in their testing environment so they can be successful, okay? I'll be glad to help anyone who's getting ready for testing coming up, help you just figure out what you need to do, that sort of thing, to help your teenager ace these exams, right? I do have 2 kids that I've worked with for a couple years who have been accepted into college and got some scholarships, and they've used these strategies, okay? And so I want the same thing for your baby, or even better. We want them to be successful in whatever they think that is. And unfortunately, in our state, that starts with passing these tests, okay? So just remember those things, have them relax and just breathe, listen to some relaxing music and practice, make time to prepare for these tests. But overall, just remember that it's just a test. It does not define them, okay? So I hope that's helpful for you and your teenagers. Just share that information with them. Make a plan. If you need help, feel free to email me, inbox me. I'll post my calendar link here on my page a little later so you can schedule a call with me. Whatever we need to do to help them be successful, okay? So I want everyone to enjoy the rest of their break. Don't be anxious about the test right now. You still have a few more days, but before school starts back next week, make sure that you set aside some time to practice and prepare for these end of course exams, all right? So thank y'all for watching me live and joining me, and make sure you subscribe. Click the button at the top, those three little dots to subscribe, and make sure you click the share button as well so you can share this video with your friends. We want to help as many teenagers as possible, all right? So thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Brittany Dent, the Teen Choice Coach.